Try talking now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a test of the mic.
Okay, there we go. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Gotcha. Like I can see you, the screen's on, but for whatever reason I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, not sure what happened there, but
No, at least we got it figured out. So what's been going on? How you been?
I've been very well.
Excellent.
Yeah, how about yourself?
Oh, I've been busy.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Being a dad is not as easy as they make it seem.
No, exactly. Yeah, whenever you are ready, we are live. We're ready to go here. So you're
Yep, I'm
whenever.
ready to go.
Okay, there's lots to talk about here.
Looking forward to it.
Me too. Okay, so we're beginning here in one, two, three.
Welcome to Broadcast Map, the show that covers the world of broadcasting, the Canadian media landscape, sports media, the show's favorite sports teams, as well as news and politics. Here's your host, Ali Musa.
Wonderful getting to some news and politics today here on the late snack here. Good evening on Friday. This is August the 22nd, 2025. I want to first thank Rod Mahood for that intro. And Jeremy Travers is back here on the late lunch. Now, for those that, if you're new here, um, Jeremy's Pete's son, and Pete has been on here a couple of times, a few times actually. And Jeremy, as you well know, that your dad and I are good friends as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And I hope that things have been well. How have things been on the world of technology here for you?
You know what? It's been a crazy ride. I'm trying to think. The last time was like a year or more ago. Um, you know, since we last chatted. Now I'm a father to a 50-month-old, and been working on music videos and doing some wedding productions. So it's been fun. Trying to balance everything at the same time, and obviously uh, work. My 9 to 5 job has been keeping me busy. So it's been a whirlwind. It's kind of been a blur the last 12 plus months.
Yeah, so you've always sort of been like, so you've kind of still been doing things on the technology and then with the with the video side for weddings and things like that.
Yeah, I'll go to wedding expos, keep in touch with people from Rogers TV. I'm always well versed. Well, not well versed, but I'm always uh, got my thumb on the pulse of what's going on in terms of sports, in terms of politics. I try to limit the politics as much as I can because it's not always the greatest news out there. But it's important to know what's happening, right?
Oh yeah.
And then just hearing and seeing what else is out there, and with being a dad, like just and things around the house, looking at how-to videos and finding different resources and all that kind of stuff. So technology is, we use it every single day, including at my job. It's never something that you want to shy away from, especially if it can help you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing is that it's funny. There's this inside joke um, between it was funny one time. Farwell once made a joke that will quote, and him and I have talked about this on this show, by the way, that
Yeah.
quote, when I retire, I'm going to get rid of the devices, quote, and I'm just going to, and that's about it. He's going to get rid of the devices. And I don't think you can actually do that nowadays. I really don't.
No, I think. Well, you know what? It's funny. Maybe somebody from his generation, maybe, they've had to adapt to using technology in their job and as part of their job, social media, posting, and all that kind of stuff. You or I, growing up, where it's part of our culture, part of our upbringing. It almost becomes an extension of you. So to say, yeah, I'm going to get rid of it, it'd be like saying, I'm going to get rid of my hands. No, you're not going to, or at least you'd very quickly find that you're not as well off without them. At least to my perspective. Um, you know, can I see myself getting rid of technology or getting rid of devices? Not really, because they've helped in so many ways.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
whether you call that addiction, who knows? It's one of those things where it's a tool, right? Phones, computers, laptops, um, the internet, YouTube, whatever it is, social media. Uh, they can be a bit of an addiction, but at the same time, they're tools for people to communicate and find out information.
Yeah, I think so too. Because see, no, I don't think though he can act. I don't think he can actually do it because of the fact that he's such a well versed kind of connected with the community kind of guy. He can't do that.
No, you'd have people coming after you, and I saw him actually a couple weeks ago. We were coming
Yep.
out of a restaurant, and I saw him and his girlfriend, fiance. I don't know if they're married or if
I
they're
think it.
engaged.
Yeah, he did announce something on Facebook.
I think they're engaged. I think
Okay.
they're
Yeah.
engaged now, which was exciting. But yeah, I think before the engagement, I know we ran into them. My wife and I ran into them at a restaurant, and but it's nice to see what he's doing online for his different charities and the Farwell for Hire and the cystic fibrosis,
Mhm.
and his hearing him I listen to him on the radio if I'm ever in my car, but anytime between 9 and 12, I'll have it on 570. I'll be listening to him, and it's nice it's a familiarity.
Yes. Yeah, it is. And and where and for those listening here, where the late lunch came from actually came. See, when your dad and I, when we chat, that's kind of we sort of kept that name because that's where that came from. That's where it came because he had a show back in the day called
Yeah,
the Late Lunch.
he did. Probably what was it? Probably I want to say 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, but
So it's
2012 and
it's
then into 2013.
yeah, it's been a while, and it's funny. I think he may have copped to this on your show, and I know he brings it up every time. Well, no, he doesn't do it as much now, but he did, a couple years ago. But he has the recordings on his phone, and so occasionally, if we're driving somewhere, he'll pull up an old episode and listen to it. Especially his when he moved from the late lunch and had the morning show in London. he would listen to, he'd pull up a couple old episodes or snippets or here and there, and it's kind of fun to kind of go down memory lane and hear what she sounded like 10 plus years ago, or what kind of things were in the news or what we were talking about. And it's actually funny because one of the things, and I think I may have mentioned this the last time I was on, but one of the things that he did with my brother and I when we were kids is when we were going to bed, we would have this Fisher Price cassette recorder.
I was actually just thinking of that story.
Yeah. So he's heard it. So he's told us before.
No, you haven't. You've told me this.
Oh, I have. Okay, well, I'm gonna reiterate it again because it's a thing that I always reminisce about. It's a fun story. But yeah, he would have this Fisher Price cassette tape, and he would record my brother and I, before we were going to bed. He would ask us about, how was our day and what did you learn in school, and then he would invariably turn it into, hey, can you record this thing for a radio commercial, which we would do. And at the time, it's annoying as a kid. You're 5, 6, 7 years old, but when you're 36, thinking, man, this is what I sounded like 30 years ago. It brings back a lot of these fun memories. And when you think, when the question comes up, how was your childhood? You think, actually, it was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. And to look back on it, I can show my son when he's old enough to understand, this is what your grandpa and I did when I was a kid. To have that, not many people can say that. And so to have these, that's what I think is very, very special about television and radio and any sort of visual or audio or auditory media in general, is the prosperity and the joy of having this thing to look back on in years from now.
Yeah, and yesterday was coincidentally International Radio Day or something. Yesterday, I think it was.
Wasn't that nice?
I think it was yesterday. I can't remember whether it was yesterday, a couple of days ago. But I mean, the power of radio sort of proves what it can, how the reach can be. Now, his show, he used to do the show with Steve Stacks in the morning.
Yep.
And Steve, who Steve is actually no longer there. He was there for a number of years, and he's no longer there now. So
no, he's not. He was let go
a
couple months ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Which is unfortunate. The 2025 has been kind of a weird year with the passing of Jim Waters. Made a great post about being a board op when he first got into radio, and then Jim calling him and while he was in the studio, calling him. And that's the thing that I loved about Jim was, aside from being cottage neighbors, everyone's story of he knew you by your first name. And I think that is just so incredible that somebody of that stature can have that kind of impact with many people. I'm sure it wasn't every single person, but there are many people who I've heard that from, and I think that's just one of those things that's special. And yeah, like Stacks, I've seen him a couple of times at a couple of events or concerts or whatever, here and there, and we don't talk, if at all, regularly, but we do. We're on Facebook and we see each other's stuff, so I hope he's doing well and was able to get back up on his feet. I don't know if he's done that already, but
I mean, I think his main sort of thing was broadcasting. I think I don't know if he's done anything prior to that, but his main thing was broadcasting.
Yeah, and I know that there are many people in broadcasting who are no longer in that industry who it seems to be either teaching or becoming a wedding officiant that are the two career paths that people follow after media, which kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But I think, like he actually went away from Jack FM and then Stax, that is, and then came back.
Briefly, yeah, I think there
Yeah.
was about a year or so that he
Hmm.
left, and then he came back. Um, Probably around the 2014, 2015 uh, area, season or period of time. But yeah, I know that it seems to be like there was the original radio show, then it was him and my dad, then that kind of broke off, and then it became what it was before again for a couple of years.
Yeah, and then he had a couple of co-hosts as well, and then
Yep.
yeah, I think it
Yep.
was the Stax and Loop show at one point.
Yeah, it was that before 2020 or 2013, and then I think it was after 2015. So there's a 2-year gap where
Hmm.
it was the Stacks and Pete show, and I think they may have added a third person in there at some point. But yeah, it's I don't know all the ins and outs of that
Nope,
because like
that's okay.
obviously it's a London, Ontario station, and being wrapped up in what's going on with Kitchener, and again, uh, being busy with work and other things, you kind of lose, not like lose interest, but you get busy and it doesn't become at the forefront.
Yep. Yeah. Now I'm a Jays fan,
Absolutely.
and I know because I know you follow me, so so I'm a so I should ask you what do you think of Shane Bieber? He actually made his debut today as a Blue Jay.
You know what? I did not see his debut, and I want to watch the highlights. But you know what? I will say that
What did you think of his
this.
acquisition?
You know what? I'm excited to see what happens. This Jays team seems to be on fire this year, um, and they find ways of winning. They're just incredible defense. I know that they had that one stretch where it just seemed like they were blowing out every it was I think it was the Dodgers. They were or was the team before that, but they were just blowing out 20 or 50, 15 or 20 runs ahead of this in the scores, and then they kind of hit that lull. But being 20, 21 games above 500, we haven't seen that in many, 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 many years. And I'm excited to see what they can do come the postseason in a few weeks.
Yeah, they have I think they had like 34 games, 33 left, I think, before
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
Mhm. And we got to give Ben Schulman a shout out on the radio broadcast. He's doing a great job.
Yes, and you know what? Just listening to him is it's like being at home, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling, just listening to him. It's like back in the day, in the 90s. I'd be listening to the radio broadcasts and listening to the Jays, and there's something comforting about that when you hear a voice and you go, okay, yep, I'm good.
So you weren't a fan? Did you? So were you a fan of the? Did you enjoy the Tom Cheek and Jerry Howarth days?
Exactly,
The late
exactly.
Tom Cheek now.
Yes, and that's what I kind of grew up with, right? Um, it was just nice to have like that radio, and you watch it on TV, or if you're uh, listening to the radio, like it's familiar, right? Like it's that nostalgic feeling.
Yeah. Yes. Now, do you remember remember when back in the day when Mike Wilner used to do Blue Jays talk and they had him he was doing all those phone calls. Remember those days?
Uh, I want to say yes. I'm struggling to pick up uh, an exact memory, but like Jerry Howarth, like uh, listening to them, like it's amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Yeah, Mike Wilner doing terrific work with the Toronto Star there now. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
yeah, deep left field. Might as well check that out. That's the name of his podcast, Deep Left Field.
I am going to.
Yep. And see, but the thing is, though, the thing about Wilner is that there are two versions of him. There was the knowledgeable baseball guy, and then there's the theater version where how he would kind of be with those callers sometimes. So I think that was the whole thing about him. But I think he's like I've always appreciated his knowledge of baseball.
Yeah, you know what? You have if you're knowledgeable about it, but you can also be personable. Like you want to find that good balance, like of having uh, good sort of personality and then bringing some excitement to it, but also knowing what you're talking about.
Yes. Yep. And also the Leafs trading Mitch Marner to the Golden Knights. What did you think of that?
I will have to say that I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not either.
I feel like it was probably a good move. And, I listened to Steve Dangle.
Oh, you like Dangle? I like Dangle too.
I like Dangle. I'm so
He's a
sad.
little loud at times, though.
Which, you know what? It's funny because he has that personality that he brings. It's funny because so my dad introduced me to a comedian, Sam Kinison, who is known for shouting in his stand-up routines, and Matty Matheson, who's a Canadian chef, who's in The Bear on Crave, is known for, and on FX, is known for when he does his cooking segments, having some shouting and some loudness, and I think that Dangle has that sort of same vibe. It's the other side of him, the quirkiness. My wife calls them dingleberries, and she's not a huge fan of them. But you know what? Like when I first listened to him, like I watch him on his dang it's and his hat tricks or hat picks segments on Rogers Sportsnet, and then I got turned on to his podcast, and then I listen to that every chance I get every week on Spotify, and and I follow him on Instagram, and so like hearing what the passing of his dog and all that, but getting back to my original point, like just having these listening to these different opinions and these just different ideas, and when you hear it from somebody who says, like, you've tried the same thing for 7 or 8 or 9 years and it hasn't worked, what do you do to change things up? And when you're not producing in the off season or in the postseason, sorry, and like, okay, what are we really getting? So am I sad to see him go? Yeah, part of me sad to see him go, but at the same time, something had to change.
Sorry, who's that? Who is that?
For Mitch Marner.
Oh, Marner. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Sorry,
like,
yeah, Marner. Yeah.
Do you want to see him go? Well, not really, but at the same time, what can you change? Like, as the old saying goes, insanity is trying the same thing multiple times, expecting a different outcome. Well, we've been trying the same routine for the last 9 years, and that hasn't worked.
Yep. Yeah, I know. That's the thing, right? And and that was sort of the DNA change that Brad Treliving was talking about. That They wanted a DNA change. I don't know if you remember that press conference, but
I don't remember the press conference, but I do remember him saying that. Like I remember that topic coming out, and I agree. There needs to be, like, if you run the same routine back again, what are you really changing? It's like saying, you know what? Well, when I was cutting my lawn, I did it this way, and it didn't really look that great. So what am I going to try to do? Do the same thing again and see if that is any different.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. That's that sort of makes sense as well. That makes a lot of sense. You don't want to keep doing things the same way and just keep kind of going about it. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, no, the like sports is also like is a lot of fun as well. Like I think getting the politics out of it, I think is like just enjoy the game. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah. Well, exactly. I want to enjoy it, but I do enjoy it. I watch. There again, going back to the Jays. Like there's a comfort and familiarity with watching the Leafs. Like I grew up a Leaf fan since I
your
was a
dad's a
kid,
Leaf
and
fan.
my dad's a Leaf fan. And you know what? One of the things we used to do was we would not grow up. One things we would do is he got us into playing mini stakes when we were little, like really, really little. And so, he would ask us, "Oh, who's your favorite player?" "Oh, it's Mike Johnson, or it's Doug Gilmour, or it's Ty Domi, whoever it is." And you'd write your name on the stick, and then that's who you're going to be. Like you're that player when you're playing mini stakes in the basement, and that's kind of fun, right? And so you see them on TV, and it's like, okay, I want to like imitate that guy, and it's a fun like fun feeling. And so seeing these new players, like seeing Nylander, seeing Matthews and Matthew Nyes, like
Yeah.
these guys are incredible, and I'm it's that feeling of like you are really frustrated that nothing has come out of it. We haven't got we got to the second round, great. You almost swept Ottawa, and you didn't for some reason. But you think, okay, I want to see you succeed. I want to see this get to where we know it can get to. And for whatever reason, the last 9 years, it just hasn't happened. It's okay. Change something up. Change something in the recipe to make this work better than it has.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Before you get to the rebuild part.
Oh yeah. No, I don't think they're at a rebuild point yet, though.
I don't think they are, but it's just one of those things where, okay, you've got Matthews. He's one of the best scoring players, in the league. You got Nylander. You've got Tavares. This should work.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I think we've got it. I think they will. I think it will.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jeremy, this was again a lot of fun. We have to do this again real soon. Let's do it again real soon. So people can find you at jeremytravers.com.
.com. They can find JT Productions on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or X, and on JT Shoots Video on Instagram. And yeah, if anyone wants to find me, follow me. If you or somebody is looking at doing music videos or needs a wedding, photography or video, I'd be happy to chat with them. And I appreciate the chat here, Ali.
Oh yeah, let's do it again soon.
Absolutely.
Soon. Sounds good. And we'll be back real soon. I'll be back real soon. So stay tuned to the Broadcast Map Network. We've launched a few more shows here, so.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for listening and/or watching Broadcast Map. To learn more about the show, please visit broadcastmap.ca. While you're there, subscribe to the newsletter so you never miss an update. Besides, it's free. Enter your email address and hit subscribe right on the homepage and at the bottom of all Broadcast Map posts.
Okay, we're going to just